Picture 2. Stick figures, walking side by side down the same road. They started at the very same place, but one of them keeps glancing sideways at the other. How fast is the other one walking? How nice are their shoes? How far ahead do they seem to be? And slowly, something sad happens. The figure stops looking at its own road. It stops enjoying its own steps. Every moment becomes a measurement. Am I behind? Am I doing enough? Am I doing enough? It has everything it had this morning, but now it feels poor, simply because it is standing next to someone who seems to have more. This is the quiet trap of comparison. And today, gently, let's learn how to step out of it. Comparison is one of the most natural things in the world, and also one of the most painful. We measure ourselves against other people without even deciding to. And almost always, we come away feeling worse, not better. So today I want to share 7 calm truths about comparison, and a small practice for each one. The goal is not to stop caring about growth. The goal is to stop stealing your own joy by holding your life up against everyone else's. First, comparison is the thief of joy. There is an old saying, comparison is the thief of joy, and it is true in the most literal way. Imagine you are happy with your small car. It gets you everywhere you need to go. Then, your neighbor parks a shiny new one in their driveway. Nothing about your car has changed. It is exactly as good as it was a minute ago. But suddenly, it feels old and small, and not enough. The car did not change. Only your eyes changed, because now you are looking sideways instead of forward. Comparison reaches into a life that was perfectly fine and quietly steals the contentment right out of it. The thing you were grateful for this morning becomes the thing you feel ashamed of tonight. Nothing was lost, except your peace. So this week, when you notice that sideways glance, try to catch it. Pause and ask one gentle question. Was I unhappy with this before I compared it? Most of the time, the honest answer is no, you were fine. The discomfort did not come from your life. It came from the comparison. Name it, and a little of its power quietly fades. Second, you are comparing your inside to their outside. This is the unfair heart of almost every comparison. You know everything about yourself. Your doubts, your fears, your tiredness, your messy mornings, the days you wanted to give up. But of other people, you only ever see the outside, the polished surface, the good news they chose to share. So you take your whole, messy, honest inside and you hold it up against their carefully chosen outside. Of course you feel like you were losing. You are comparing a full and true story to someone else's highlight. Everyone you envy has private struggles you will never see. The confident person has fears. The successful person has doubts. You are not behind them. You simply cannot see their backstage. You only see their stage. So the next time you feel small next to someone, gently remind yourself, I am seeing their outside, not their inside. Picture, just for a moment, that this person also lies awake some nights, also feels unsure, also struggles with things you cannot see. Because they do. It is not a trick. It is simply the truth, and remembering it brings you back to level ground. Third, understand that your phone is a comparison machine. Social media did not invent comparison, but it poured fuel on it. In one quiet scroll, you can pass 100 people's best moments. The wedding, the holiday, the new house, the perfect meal. 1,000 highlights, with all the ordinary hours cut out. No one posts the boring Tuesday. No one posts the argument, or the self-doubt, or the long gray afternoon. So the feed is not real life. It is a museum of best moments, gathered from 1,000 different people, all stacked on top of each other. And then you compare your normal, whole day to that impossible museum. No wonder it leaves you feeling behind. You are not failing at life. You are losing a game that was never real to begin with. So watch how you feel when you scroll. For a few days, simply notice. If a certain account or a certain app leaves you feeling small and anxious almost every time, that is useful information. You are allowed to unfollow it. You are allowed to put the phone in another room. Protect your mind from the machine, gently and on purpose. Fourth, run your own race. The only fair comparison is you, today, against you, in the past. Everyone is running on a different track, with a different start line, carrying a different weight. To compare your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20 is not just painful, it does not even make sense. They are running a completely different race. So turn your eyes away from the runners beside you and look back at your own road. Are you a little kinder than you were a year ago? A little stronger? A little wiser? A little further along your own path? That is the only scoreboard that truly matters. When you measure today's self against yesterday's self, comparison stops being a wound and quietly becomes encouragement. So tonight, instead of measuring yourself against anyone else, look back 1 year. Write down 3 ways you have grown since then. Things you have learned, fears you have faced, small steps you have taken. This is your race, and this is your progress. Let yourself actually see how far you have come. 5th, there will always be someone ahead, so the ladder of more never ends. Here is a hard truth, but also a freeing one. No matter how much you achieve, there will always be someone with more. More money, more talent, more followers, a bigger house. If your peace depends on being ahead of everyone, you have signed up for a race with no finish line. Even the people at the very top are looking up at someone. The rich person knows a richer one. The famous one envies the more famous. It is a ladder with no final rung, and climbing it just for the sake of comparison brings no rest, ever. The only way to win this game is to gently step off the ladder and decide that your worth was never a matter of rank in the first place. So ask yourself a quiet question. What is actually enough for me? Not enough to beat everyone, just enough for a good, calm life. Name it in plain words. Enough money to feel safe. Enough time with the people I love. When you define your own enough, you step off the endless ladder, and you finally get to stand still and breathe. 6th, someone else's success is not your failure. When we compare, we quietly begin to believe that life is a pie with only so many slices. So if they get a big piece, there must be less left for me. But life is mostly not like that. Another person being healthy does not make you sick. Another person being happy does not use up the happiness in the world. Their good news took nothing away from you. And here is something that can change everything. When you stop seeing other people as competition, you can finally be happy for them. You can celebrate a friend's win without it tasting bitter. That bitterness was never really about them. It was the comparison, poisoning a moment that could have been pure joy. Let people win, and let yourself be glad. There is more than enough to go around. So this week, when someone shares good news, practice genuine celebration. Say, "That is wonderful," and really try to mean it. Watch for the small sting of envy, notice it without any shame, and then choose warmth anyway. Each time you are honestly glad for someone, you starve the comparison, and you feed something much kinder in yourself. 7th, and finally, gratitude is the cure for comparison. Comparison and gratitude cannot really live in the same moment. Comparison looks sideways and asks, "Who has more than me?" Gratitude looks down at your own hands and asks, "What do I already have?" One of them leaves you feeling empty. The other one quietly fills you up. And the remarkable thing is, they are looking at the very same life. The same day can feel poor through the eyes of comparison and rich through the eyes of gratitude. Nothing in the world has to change, only the direction of your attention. So when comparison pulls your eyes outward, gratitude is how you turn them back home. To the people who love you, the roof above your head, the breath in your chest, these things were always yours. Comparison just made you forget to look at them. So each night before you sleep, name 3 things from your own life that you are grateful for. Not big things. Small, real ones. A warm meal, a kind word, a quiet moment. Do this for 1 week. Slowly, your eyes learn a new habit of looking at what you have instead of at what everyone else has. So, gently, let's gather it together. Comparison is the thief of joy. You are comparing your inside to their outside. Your phone is a comparison machine. Run your own race against who you were, not who they are. The ladder of more never ends, so define your own enough. Another person's win is not your loss, and gratitude is the quiet cure for all of it. You do not need to be ahead of anyone to live a good life. You only need to come home to your own road, your own steps, your own enough. The figure walking beside you was never your competition. They were just another traveler, walking their own road, exactly like you. So lift your eyes from them, and look at the path in front of you. It is a good path, and it is yours. If this helped you, hit subscribe and like. It really helps the channel. Take care of yourself this week.